Hey everyone, and welcome back. So today's tutorial is actually a stone that I kind of just made up. I was thinking about the redstone I did a while back with the golden veins, and what I wanted to do with this one was kind of almost a toned down version and switch it. And so this is kind of going to be a golden stone, and then we're going to have like almost pinkish veins in it. So we're going to jump right in, and our colors are cream for the base, even though the entire stone will end up looking gold. And then light yellow ochre. And this one is Bistry or Bister. It's, I don't know how to say it. This medium flesh is what I'll be using for the veins. And then the last one is walnut brown for a bunch of the shading and just to help get the depth in there that we really, really want. So the base is cream, and that's going to be our lightest color. And that's what I like to do, is just have a base of color to sort of start working everything into. And you don't have to blend it, you don't have to do anything. I just like having that layer of color there. It, for me, makes blending together everything else much easier. So that's just the base. And then I have the medium flesh, which is just a very nice pink tone, but not like super pink. It's like a very toned down, earthy pink. And that's what I'm going to use for the veins. And the veins in this are just going to be organic. I just wanted to play with it and make it almost a little bit geometric by just kind of making these little loops and circle shapes, and just having fun with it, because that's what you do with gems and stones, is you just have fun. Like, that's the whole point, the whole process. Love the process. Okay. So if you want to do, squares or circles or squiggles or cracks that are very traditional looking, or real looking, I should say, do that. But it really doesn't matter. Like, you just have fun with it. That's the whole point. Be imaginative. And so that's all I'm doing here, is just playing with it, making all of these like little circle-ish and egg shapes in general, and just going along and touching it to the sides of the stone and just continuing with it all. Now, the entire stone is going to be gold by the end of this, which is why we have the base of cream. And so I'm going to actually go ahead and, after debate, because I sometimes never figure out how the layers I want are going to be. So, excuse me. I'm going to get the light yellow ochre and just kind of start putting in the color of it, as well as beginnings of the shadow. And where the light hits, because this is going to be a stone, that's why I'm leaving that more of a highlighted area up there. And then just going ahead and covering almost the rest of the stone in light yellow ochre. It's a very, very nice gold tone that I've found. And from there, we're just going to begin to build some of the shadow in, and begin making your gem look quite a bit more 3D, and, well, your stone look more 3D and have some depth to it. So this is the walnut brown, and I'm just going to touch the edge up here and begin bringing it down at the bottom to really get some shadow, some depth on there, and start making the illusion more complete that this is actually popping right off the page. Which is honestly one of the funnest things, is to watch these things come to life right underneath your pencils. It's really just a cool thing. So we're just getting that shadow nice and put in there, making sure to get the edges, and just going very, very lightly on top just to begin that shadow. And then as we'll go along the edges, we'll start getting them a little bit darker, because edges are where the light just doesn't hit, and so they are much, much darker, and the darker they are, the more they feel like they recede from your eye, and that's what we want. So I'm not going to be using any kind of blenders or anything like that with this stone. I'm just going to be using the Polychromos pencils. So I'm continuing to make sure that my edge is nice and dark, even all the way up at the top. I want to make sure that the edge itself goes away, even though the light where the light hits on it will be quite a bit lighter. And now I'm just going to blend in a little bit of the shadow, just make sure that it really matches like the whole color. And so I'm using the light yellow ochre for that, and just going over the shadow basically and bringing up the vibrancy of that color. And the more layers you use, the more vibrant it kind of feels when you're making these. But I also use a lot of light layers, and I don't burnish, and I don't push real hard at all with my pencils. So now we're going to go in here and use the Bister or the Bistry, the light brown. It's a light brown, y'all. And just highlight some of the veins and give them a little bit of structure and a little bit of their own 3D-ness, make them feel interesting and not just sit there as just lines, but actually give them a little bit more body to them. So just wherever you feel, inside the little circles and beside the lines and wherever else, just to make it interesting. And you could do this in any colors. You don't have to ever follow my color scheme. Same tonal values. Like the first pencil is the lightest pencil, so you just use the lightest pencil. The second pencil is going to be, a mid-tone pencil. Like, you don't have to follow the same colors at all. And it'll work out pretty awesome each time. And if it doesn't, that's okay. Just make another one. Like, you don't have to worry about it. Don't be a perfectionist like me, because then you'll go crazy and become gem obsessed. That's just me. Just me. Don't follow my ways. Don't do it. It's a trap. I decided that I needed more lines because that little spot up there was just looking a little empty. So I gave it some more veins, because we don't want any part of the stone to feel left out. So then, just to get an overall kind of feel, like I want all of this stone to feel as if it is together, if it's one stone. So I'm just going to go ahead and color the entire thing over with a layer of the cream, which is the base color that we use, so it's the lightest color. And this is just to help kind of smooth it, blend it, make it feel as one. And it really looks pretty good already. I definitely want to go in and maybe just pull out a few of those veins. But But that's honestly about it. So just grabbing that medium flesh, the light pink color, going in and just making some of the veins a little bit more pronounced, a little more pinkish. And just kind of nitpicking at it. I like to get some of those details in. Get some pink tone on there. And that is pretty much it. So I definitely want to go ahead now and get my Uniball Signo Broad gel pen that I really like to use, especially with the bigger highlights. Get it flowing, and then just go ahead and put on my highlight right up here at the top where it is lightest, because this is a stone, which means it's opaque and not translucent. And I'm just going to very gently touch and drag my gel pen and give it another little highlight, and then maybe a dot or two. Even a highlight up there. Even if you can't really see it real well, your eye knows it's there. And then on the other side, just going to put like a little thin highlight. And I usually use one of the pencils that I used for the gem and just clean up my highlights, make sure that the edges are really, really nice, clean, and straight, and not wobbling back and forth at all. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this veined gold stone, and I hope I see you and yours in the next tutorial. Talk to you later. Bye.